Welcome to Jets Chaos, the Wacky Wednesday show. With me, Jets Chaos, also known as Jeremy, and WA2K99. And we'll be back with WA2K99 right after this.
Don't not be Thibodeau. And here it comes, it's about to come in. Oh my God! They didn't. They took Sauce Gardner. Oh my God, they don't want an edge. Maybe he likes Jermaine Johnson at 10. Then we're not going to get a wide receiver?
Garrett Wilson, wide receiver.
Oh my God, no edge.
Who's sitting there?
The Jets traded up. The Jets traded up. Are we taking JJ? Are we taking JJ? Because I know Braden is in New Zealand saying, we should get Lily, Mike. He's definitely saying that. JJ! We got Johnson! We got Johnson at 26! We got Johnson at 26! This is great! Yes! They took Roger McCreary, they didn't take Dean, and we traded up. We can get Nakobe Dean. We can get Nakobe Dean. It really is. They took Breece Hall. Wow. I mean, look, I love Breece Hall.
But there's also Jeremy Ruckert, who I think is the best tight end in the class personally.
They took Jeremy Rucker. Yes! We got a Jeremy. Oh, and the Jets pick, and it's Max Mitchell, offensive tackle. We needed that. That's wow. We took Michael Clemens. I never heard of him. A defensive edge.
All right, guys, what's up? As you can see, I am still not in the studio. I'm still in North Carolina, still eating all this East Coast food, stuff in my face, doing fun things every day, and trying to find a place to do the show. And I'm in this weird room with these funny curtains behind me because it turns out my parents are now grandparents. So this became a grandparents' house. But anyway, just want to say hello to a few people in the chat. Nathan was the first one here. You were first, Nathan. You're the man. We got somebody new. Hey, New York sports wicker media guy, whoever you are. If you want to subscribe to the channel, if you like the content, like the video. Thanks for joining the chat, New York sports wicker media guy. Matthew Smith, what's up, buddy? I still got to send you those cards. They're at home. I'm in North Carolina, so you're going to have to wait. And Dark Soldier, what's going on, my friend? And everybody else out there that's watching that haven't commented yet, what's going on? But without further ado, let's bring in my co-host. Let's get him in here. You all know who he is. And he's a little bummed the Rangers lost the last two games. We had a great opportunity to go 3-0. It didn't happen. That's okay. It's okay. Because we're here to talk about the Jets. We're here to trash ESPN. And there's no better person to help me do that. No better person with the information and facts to trash ESPN and put them in their place than WA2K99.
Well, here we are, and to the king of curtains, my partner in pizza purging, I salute you. I say hello to you, and hello to everybody in the chat. It is Wednesday night. I hope everyone's had a fantastic hump day, and now let's talk some Jets, and let's get wacky.
Let's do it. So I put a video out about this today. It wasn't one of my normal angry videos because I took a more mellow approach. You know, to no surprise, it really didn't shock me at all. When I saw, or I heard, I think it may have been Dom C. Somebody put in a text chat, hey, did you see that ESPN made the New York Jets, our New York Jets, the favorite to get the number one pick in 2023?
I did see that, and so I guess I have to throw the question at you. I mean, Will Anderson, is that the guy that we're going to be taking first overall? I mean, there's no point watching the season at this point. I mean, ESPN said it. I mean, Pro Football Focus has rated Robert Saleh the worst coach in the NFL. I mean, we've got the worst uniforms, the worst field, the worst stadium. Okay, the last one might be true, but we're just the worst at everything, apparently, according to every expert all across this country. So why does everybody have to be such a freaking killjoy when it comes to the Jets? Why can't they let us relish in the most exciting time to be a Jet, the time from the draft until the first guy gets injured for the season? Can we at least have those couple of months of happiness and hope, however false that hope may be?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should start negotiating Will Anderson's rookie deal, and we should start just hunting for a new head coach, I guess.
I mean, unless we feel that we're going to give up on Zach Wilson immediately. I mean, he threw 4 inaccurate passes, so clearly he's not the man for the job. So you have C.J. Stroud from Ohio State. You have Tyler Van Dyke from Miami, maybe related to Dick Van Dyke, who really knows. And yeah, I think if not Anderson, you have to consider one of the. You may not even be able to take Anderson because clearly we don't have a quarterback unless you believe in Mike White not completely sucking. You know,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. If we listen to the experts.
the experts.
The experts.
They never get anything wrong.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, it's so easy, right? It's so easy to just say, every year after year, you look at the year before and you rank the bottom teams that were on the bottom, the middle teams in the middle, and the good teams the teams are at the top on the top. And statistically, you have the best chance to hit with most teams, and you could have some credibility. And that's really just, the problem with a lot of things in this world is it's not really about being honest, doing research, doing work. It's about protecting your job, protecting your reputation. And that's why a lot of people are afraid to give their real opinions. They're afraid to say things, and they hold back because they don't want to take a chance. They just want to play it safe. I don't think, I mean, I know, forget about the name of the channel being Chaos, but I don't think people want to watch us come on here and play it safe unless we really believed it. So if I believed the Jets were going to go 7-10, I would say it if that was what I truly believed. But I'm not going to sit there and say the Jets will go 7-10 because it's safe. The truth is, I think if our offensive line does not hold up and there's injuries, we're going to only win 6 or 7 games. I believe that. I believe if our offensive line stays healthy, we're going to win 9 or 10 games, right? But if you ask me how many games are the Jacksonville Jaguars going to win, I would say, you know what? I really don't know much about them. I don't study them as much as I studied the Jets. It looks like they added some position players. I guess Trevor will be a little better. I guess I'd put them in the 4 to 5 win range, and maybe a Jaguar fan would be mad at me, but I would admit, hey, man, I don't know 100% what I'm talking about. I didn't study every player they added. I'm not following them like I follow the Jets. But the analysts, for ESPN have to know everything, and they have to pretend they know all 32 teams. And what's their method of doing that without having to put the work in? It's to just take and go by last year and go by record and go by numbers only without looking and doing research and really looking deep into the team. And that's how I feel about it.
And let's face it, they will use a formula that suits their agenda. Because let's face it, they have agendas. They want clickbait. They want to generate interest with those headlines. So they will elevate the teams that will get somebody's attention. They will put down the teams where they know that fan base will get angry. And we are the epitome of that fan base. I mean, I don't know if the Lions fans or the Browns fans or the Texans fans feel the same way, but we have been down consistently for such a long period of time that we are the easiest target to go after. So, but then again, you have other analysts, and we're right, we're wrong. We're always going to make right and wrong predictions, especially when we make these bold ones. We'll either look like geniuses or we'll look like fools. But then you have the Brady Quinns, the Chris Collinsworths, the David Carrs, exactly, Nathan. And, they all have very high hopes for the Jets. And every team's going to have their defenders, or they're going to have a couple guys who are touting them. I'm sure there's even a couple of people who think the Texans have a shot at the playoffs. Somewhere in America, there's a couple of guys. The biggest thing I think we can hope for from the preseason is the same thing as usual. No injuries. It's not about what the game score is. I feel like half of the battle right now is health. Because you have your few teams that we know are going to be bad. We have a few teams that we know are going to be really good. But you have about 20, 22 teams that are going to be somewhere in the middle. And I feel like right now we could be at the bottom of that middle. But if we at least stay healthy, that is going to go a long way to getting us towards 500 and, dare I say, beyond 500 this season, if I could get greedy on that. So
I don't see why on paper we couldn't, except, there's some points. There's some things to be concerned about. I mean, not really concerned, but like realistic about. Like, it's perfectly fine to be realistic about the fact that we're going to have a bunch of rookies we're counting on to contribute, and that we have a lot of question mark second-year players that we're counting on, right? I mean, Zach Wilson, we're hoping he takes the next step. We believe he can take the next step, but he has to actually take the next step. It's not automatic that he's going to take the next step. You got a third-year Mekhi Becton is a question mark to an extent. I believe he's going to be fine, but he did miss a lot of time. There's some concerns about his knee still. He didn't leave on the best note, so I understand that there's some questions there. Carl Lawson is coming back from a blown Achilles, so obviously there's questions there. Your other edge that you're relying is JJ has never played an NFL snap. So there are questions, but there's also strong possibilities that these questions will be answered in a positive way. There's the possibility Becton's going to come back and resume his rookie year and just evolve from there and be very dominating. There's possibilities that Carl Lawson, as hard a worker he is going to come back fine and be a great disruptor, and that JJ is going to pan out, and we're going to have a tremendous defensive line and create tremendous havoc for the opposing quarterbacks. There's a lot of things that can go really well. So it really is a year that could blow up in our face again if things go wrong, but it's also the year that we could explode. And it's not unreasonable. It's not ridiculous to say this team can win 10 games. This team can make a push for the playoffs. It's not unrealistic or unreasonable. It's just you have to acknowledge that everything would have to work. Everything would have to fall in place in a positive way.
And I feel that I've felt that way about a lot of my teams in the last couple of years, where there's hope, but everything has to go a certain way. It almost never goes that way, if we're being real about it. I mean, there's always adversity. We're the Jets. We deal with adversity every single day. We have to expect it. We just hope when the adversity comes, it isn't catastrophic, like that we don't get Carl Lawson part 2. Now I'm glad that we have depth at certain positions now, like interior offensive line and a cornerback, for instance, positions that we haven't had depth at in years. So even if an AVT or a Tomlinson has to miss a week or two, I'm not going to freak out over it, because I do have some confidence in the guys who are behind them at this point. Now, we can't say that about every position. And you know what? You're never going to be perfectly deep at every single position in this league. It's the nature of it. Between salary cap, contracts, free agency, there's always going to be a few positions where you're like, oh, we lose this guy, we're going to take a big step back. But a lot of that is at the non-premium positions, such as linebacker. I would throw safety in there as well. So I think we are about as, considering where we were at the end of this past season, where we were in January compared to where we are now, I don't think we could have been realistic in asking for much bigger of a jump. The only thing I think maybe we could say that would have made a bigger impact is if they did make a trade for, like a veteran, like a wide receiver or, a pass rusher, whatever the case may be before the draft had happened. If they got a Hill or a Samuel, it would have worked out, very well maybe in the short term, but then how would they have been hamstrung because of all the money that they were committing? So in terms of building the young foundation, I think we have seen about as much as we can expect to see. Now we have to see how that translates to the field.
Yeah, I think one of the most unrealistic things that I think I see is when, and mostly it's Jet fans, will criticize our lack of depth in certain areas and get mad at JD and get frustrated. And I just want to remind those people to go back 16, 17 months, to go back right before free agency opened up in 21 and look what our roster was. And really look at that roster and how many holes we had and how many years we thought at that time or how long of a road it felt until we could put a team together. I mean, we had no offensive line. We had a joke of a wide receiver room, right? Because that's before we got Corey Davis and drafted Elijah Moore.
Mm-hmm.
We had no tight ends, which we didn't address last year. That was not one of the things we addressed right away. But so we know we didn't have that. But there's a reason why it wasn't addressed right away because we had so many other holes. We had we had no edge rusher. That was before we signed Carl Lawson, right? Because we're talking about before the free agency period. We didn't know we thought JFM had some potential. That's about it. We thought Bryce Hall had some potential. That's about it. But we didn't have a second cornerback. I mean, we had Bless Austin or whatever. It was a joke. I mean, the team wasn't, and we had Sam Darnold as our quarterback. So, I mean, the team was and no running back, by the way. So our team was an absolute disaster. That's why it was a crappy team. It was a bottom of the league team. It was the type of team that really deserved at that time to be predicted to have the number 1 pick the following year. We were a pathetic team. We were brought to rock bottom by Adam Gase. And here we are 18 months later, 17 months later, whatever it is, since free agency opened up in 21. And we have a defensive line where we don't even know who we can cut because it goes so deep with real NFL players. We have 2 cornerbacks who actually did okay, one for a rookie, one for a second year, actually held up and was okay last year, who are now our number 3 and number 4 depth cornerbacks for depth because we have solid guys. And I mean, Sauce Gardner, I think we all know, whoever's been paying attention, that he's special. And CJ Reed. You look at the tight end room, and all of a sudden we have 2 veteran tight ends and a young potential future star. We have Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Garrett Wilson, Berrios. Mims is our number 5. He was our number 1 at the end after the 2020 season. So we thought he was our only wide receiver that we had. Now he's our number 5, and he's a guy we're hoping has a big comeback year. And of course, instead of Sam Darnold, now we have this young hope in Zach Wilson. And then let's not forget the running backs, right? I mean, Breece Hall, Michael Carter.
It's a little different than Frank Gore falling forward for 2 yards.
Yeah. And we have Michael Carter II. I forgot about him. Michael Carter II, is a slot corner who's awesome. It is a completely revamped roster that's young. That's, so they're not like overpaid free agents that were brought in. They're young. They are have crazy high ceilings. We are not buried in cap, hell at all. We still have cap flexibility. Our contracts aren't disgusting. We don't have dead money anymore. I mean, we can't expect everything to be perfect. I think we got to be pretty happy with what Joe Douglas has done in the last 16 months of 16 in the past 16 months.
I mean, all I could say is I listened to Mike Westhoff, who we're going to get to talk to tomorrow night on Green Bean Show. Well, I listened to Joe Beningo interview him this past week on his podcast. And Beningo asked Westhoff about where he felt the Jets were, and he asked about the coach specifically, because Beningo is known as a guy who's not a big fan of Robert Saleh. And Westhoff said he didn't really know him. He would like Saleh to be a little bit more demonstrative on the sideline. But he did say, considering where the team is now, they are as well prepared to be successful as he has seen them in 10 years. Mike Westhoff is not going to BS you. He will tell you exactly how he feels.
Mm-hmm.
And hearing that from him gives me a little bit of optimism because, his opinion is one that I trust because he knows his football. So this is a young, impressionable core. So this is where we have to hope that the coaches that we have, who are not veteran coaches for the most part, they're young too. They're figuring it out also. That we are really counting on these coaches to develop these kids. And right now, all we can do is hope. We're not going to really know until the games start. But if we don't see, big jumps from, certain players, first and second year players, part of me is going to have to look not just at the players, but at the coaches as well. So, I don't have an issue with Robert Saleh yet, but his feet are going to be held to the fire this year if we don't see some, market improvement over the course of the season.
Yeah.
Cameron, what would you like to know? What I feel about what? Exactly what topic? I can talk about a lot of topics, but I'm assuming you want one that's Jet related.
Yeah. I believe in Robert Saleh, and I believe that he has all the makings of a great leader, but it has to be proven. Obviously, it has to be proven. But I love what I've seen so far. What I see is somebody who fits the character and the mold of a great leader. And I don't care what PFF says. PFF has been, is a clickbait organization. All they do is do what's going to get them the most clicks. They know that the Jets fans are the most active fans in the NFL. It's proven on Twitter. It's proven everywhere. We are the most active. We are probably the most reactionary. So, and just ESPN knows it too. Why put us below Chicago and Detroit? Why put us below Houston? Because if you put Houston as the favorite to get the number 1 pick next year in the draft, you're not going to get the reaction you're going to get from Jet fans. You're not going to get the clicks. You're not going to get the attention.
You're just going to get, that sounds about right. Yeah. Houston, bottom of the list. Yeah, sounds about right. So, same thing with Atlanta. I think they could make, I think those good teams who have been good and have, made playoff appearances, when they fall, the fans feel it that much more, and they almost want their teams, like if they're going to be bad and really be able to recover right. But don't hang in like this mediocrity where, you're stuck, but, where you're in the mix, but not really in the mix. I'm thinking like some of those some of those fans, I think they're a little bit, it's not going to sting them quite as hard because, Atlanta was in the Super Bowl recently and had a good run of success. Houston won a bunch of division titles in a row. It's easy to forget about that. We haven't seen the playoffs in eons. It's been 12 years for us. So we are that much desperate to earn respect because we've been picked on, by the schoolyard bully for over a decade now. And we are desperate to be able to throw a solid punch and connect on the chin. And it's like, if we don't do it now, when is it going to happen? Because we are as well positioned to make that jump as we have been in a while. Don't talk to me about how hard the opposing schedule is. I don't want to hear it. Don't talk to me about how much better the conference has gotten. Yes, the conference has gotten better. I acknowledge that. But we have gotten a lot better too. And we need to see that manifest itself from early on. We cannot be out of the race by Columbus Day. I can't deal with another meaningless 10, 11, 12 weeks of Jet football. We have gone through enough of it.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that people got to get over is all the tough teams and like this whole thing about, well, look at the schedule, look at these teams. How are you going to beat this team and this team? Okay, because let's be honest about this. Okay,
Okay.
I'm going to name these teams: Baltimore, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Chiefs, Buffalo, New England, Miami, Tennessee, Indianapolis. All of these teams are not going to win 12 games or more. All of these teams are not going to be great. So we have to stop making the excuses of, oh, look at our schedule. We're going to lose these games because of the schedule. Because all of those teams, it just doesn't work that way. There's balance, right? And like Pittsburgh's going to have a new quarterback. Cleveland, we don't know who's going to be playing quarterback game 2 or even the whole year. There's issues. There's issues in this league, and there's issues with some of the teams that we're playing. Seattle, who's their quarterback? Geno Smith?
Drew Lock.
So people have to stop worrying about the schedule, because usually what's going to happen, is that it's going to regress to the mean. It's going to balance out. By the time the year ends, when you add up the average records of all the teams we play, it's not going to be like every team are these 12-win playoff teams. It's not. There are teams that are going to have disappointing years. Will it be Miami? Will it be New England? Will it be Cleveland? Will it be Pittsburgh? We don't know. It doesn't matter. What we have to focus on is our roster. We have to focus on our plan, and our guys have to go out there and just play good football. It's just that simple.
If you had to pick one of the perennial AFC contenders to have a down season, who would that team be? Do you have one in mind?
I think that Pittsburgh's going to have a really rough year.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they will. It's hard psychologically when you lose a guy like. Now, they have a great coach. I don't think they're going to be horrible. I don't think they're going to be an embarrassment. They're too well coached and they're too strong of an organization. But I think they're going to have a disappointing year if they're thinking playoffs. If they're thinking playoffs, they're going to be disappointed, in my opinion.
Yeah, not this season. I could see Tennessee taking a pretty big fall. Keep in mind, they had the number 1 seed in the conference. It's hard to imagine that after what we saw with Kansas City versus Buffalo and then Cincinnati coming in to take the AFC crown. But Tennessee had a heck of a season. Mm-hmm. But they've lost a few players between A.J. Brown, Reddick. They've lost quite a few guys, and Derrick Henry's not getting any younger. So to me, I really think Tennessee is going to fall to around 500, if not below 500. That could be, if we're in the wild card race, that could be a team we have a big, we could be in contention with for that last wild card spot.
Yep. You got Nathan coming and saying New England and Pittsburgh. Okay.
A lot of people are saying that about New England too, and I think Pittsburgh also. I was trying to be, I don't know. I went a little bit, a team that's like expected to make the playoffs. I think most people are not expecting New England and Pittsburgh to make it this particular season. But yes, the fall is definitely easy to see coming.
And old Dave comes in. He's from the Modesto area. What do you guys think of the next chapter for Baker Mayfield? I got to say this. I think I'm so opposite of Tigo when it comes to Baker Mayfield. I'm so opposite of him. I think that Baker Mayfield 2 years ago was finally Cleveland had a quarterback who was good enough that they can get to the playoffs. They finally filled that position after so many attempts and so many embarrassments. I don't think he was perfect, but I think he was a good quarterback. I think he was improving and growing. I think he has a lot of positives. I think he played under a lot of bad coaches in the beginning. He finally found a coach that did something with him. And I think last year he was playing hurt because he's that kind of guy. He's tough. And he played through the pain. And playing injured like that, it hurt him. He didn't play well. And I think he's grossly underrated. I don't know why there are teams like Carolina or Washington. I don't know why there weren't teams lining up to try to get this kid. I really don't understand it. And I don't know what's next for him. I don't know if he's going to land on one of those teams or not. I think it would be just gross if he doesn't get an opportunity to start in this league again. I think it would be absolutely gross. I like the kid. I think he was, Cleveland treated him horribly at the end there. I think he got a raw deal, and I'd like to see him get another opportunity, preferably in the NFC, because I don't want him to help any other team in the AFC get better. We've got enough competition in the AFC.
I feel like at the end of the day, Baker Mayfield's career might be pretty comparable to Sam Darnold's career. I don't think it's drastically different. Hope at the beginning of their first season, but then at the end of the day, it hasn't quite worked out. I definitely think Baker's had better coaching than Sam Darnold could ever dream of having, for one thing. But I do expect at this point Baker will just have to go to a place where he feels there could be a chance for him to start. And I do think eventually that will happen. I mean, somebody will trade for him, or if he just needs a couple of games to prove himself. But this was a situation where both teams needed a fresh start. I think that's pretty safe to say. That really, the more I talk about this, the more parallels I see to Sam Darnold. And I feel like even if the Jets wound up getting Baker Mayfield, it might have been the exact same story as what we had with Sam Darnold. I don't think there would have been too much of a difference. To me, Seattle makes all the sense in the world for him. I feel that's a pretty how do I say, a fan base that is not going to be quite as critical as say Cleveland will. I think that's a good way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
To me that's a trade that makes a whole lot of sense. But I guess if Seattle's really committed to that rebuild, then I don't know, maybe they're looking for maybe Baker is not the quarterback they're looking for at this point. But if I had to tell you what his next chapter is going to be, he'll find another commercial to do during the off season. He'll find a way to make a little more money.
Well, somebody's going to have an injury. Quarterbacks go down. Something will happen. I think Cleveland is hoping one goes down in camp for another team, so they get an opportunity to get something back for him. I don't know. You know how this league works. Everybody, eventually gets a chance. They, as long as you're in the league, unless you're the number 3 quarterback, if you're the number 2, in most cases, there's going to be an opportunity. You're going to get some kind of chance to play. I don't know. By the way, this is just a ginger beer, everybody. I'm not drinking or getting drunk or anything.
No York peppermint patties. I will say this with Baker, his best season was probably his rookie season. It hasn't been quite as good since. I mean, touchdowns in his 4 seasons, 27, 22, 26, 17. Interceptions went 4. Interceptions are a little bit weird. 14, 21, 8, 13. Yards went 37, 25, 38, 27, 35, 63, 3,010. He was really at his best in first year, and you can make an argument during his second year as well. Mm-hmm. I don't know. You wonder if he's one of those. He has to go to just the right situation to get him right. I think physically and mentally, he can't just go anywhere and be successful. Could you imagine if the Giants would take a chance at him? I mean, at this point, Daniel Jones. I mean, if they don't believe in him after this season, maybe they would go after him.
It's not a horrible place to be. They just drafted, Evan Neal. Their offensive line is starting to come together. They have a lot of weapons on the outside.
I've heard no one talking about this. It just came to me. It's like, why would the Giants go after Baker Mayfield? Not now, but at the end of the season or during the next offseason.
It wouldn't be a brutal or miserable or horrible place to be. I don't think. I think that again, Jones is lucky that he's getting this chance now with a real offensive line. This is it, though. There's nothing left after this. If it doesn't work out for him now, he's done as a starter. Now Daniel Jones has to perform, and if he doesn't, Baker Mayfield might be the answer. We'd have to see. Yeah, man, I'm wearing my White Castle shirt. I'm proud and happy with my White Castle shirt. Man, when I was a kid, did I love White Castle. Now, if I saw a White Castle, I would order like 3 or 4 hamburgers at the most. That's what I'd order, 4 sliders, and I would just resist the temptation to eat more. Because when I used to eat 8 to 10 of those things,
Oof.
I was sick for 2 weeks, man.
I tried White Castle one time. Now, granted, I was very young, but yes, I got sick, and I said, "That's it. I'm a one-time White Castle eater. Never again. Can't do it. I don't even know where the nearest one is to me in Virginia. You know, I couldn't even tell you where it is."
Ryan McCabe. So, you know me and my ability to sniff out new blood. Ryan McCabe, I don't know if you've ever been in our chat before. I don't know if you're subbed to the channel, but if you're not subbed and you like the show, please do us a favor and sub to the channel. It really helps us out a lot. And of course, like the stream. But Baker is a Carson Wentz. I don't think that's I think that's a strong possibility. I think he might, if things go the wrong way for him, end up with a Carson Wentz type of career with the way it seems to be going. But I will say this. I don't think he's had his Carson Wentz at Indianapolis year yet, right? So he's not there yet. If he goes to a team like the Giants or Seattle or Carolina and he doesn't take advantage of it and he's the problem and, you know, he's a weak part of the team, I think you're right. He's Carson Wentz. But if he goes to another team like a Seattle and brings them right back to being a winning team again and does really well for them, then he's not a Carson. Yeah, then he's not a Carson Wentz.
And Carson Wentz just had to be like, well, they both had to been like supporting player quarterbacks because both those teams are kind of built around the run. I'm thinking about Carson Wentz in Indianapolis with Jonathan Taylor, and then you think about Baker Mayfield with Chubb and Hunt. You know, that is definitely an offense that should be focusing more on the running game. And, you know, I think they're both considered starters in the league, but lower level starters. I don't think anybody's bringing those guys in as a backup quarterback. So, yeah, I definitely do see the comparison between Wentz and Mayfield.
Yeah, I don't know if that deal could be canceled, Sean. As far as I understand, that was a 100% guaranteed ironclad contract that Deshaun Watson got.
Lock, stock, signed, sealed, delivered. He's theirs.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, you were definitely right when you were going through the chat earlier, and you pointed out the new guy, the Wicker Media guy. He's pretty good most of the time with this stuff. But I'll talk to him. I think he'll probably subscribe. He's all right though. He's all right.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I figure if I'm going to change J. Cole and I'm going to betray you, that I'll go all the way and I'll take away the name that gave you so much comfort and security and just become Jets Chaos.
Next week, he'll be just Chaos.
And then after that, I'll just be CH. I think Iowan is here. What's up, butthole? How you doing? Hey, you know, you never really gave us the final evaluation. What'd you think of that wine?
I still got a little bit left, as a matter of fact. I had to put a little chill on that. That's not a wine you want to have room temp. Okay, yeah, certain wines you got to have it. It's one of those rare reds that you don't want to have at room temp. You want to put in the fridge for a little bit. But I still have some left, and it was one of those wines. I had to take a few sips of it to kind of get into it. Like first couple of tastes, it was like, I don't know about this, but after a few tastes, it's like, okay, this is a good summer red wine. It's more of like a dark pink, light red wine is what it actually was. But yeah, I was good with the taste. Put it this way, I'm not pouring it down the drain, so it will all be consumed. It's just I'm not drinking a ton of it at one time. So it's all right. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan.
Well, yeah, I appreciate that, Ryan. I like being on that list. There's some pretty powerful guns, powerful names up there that I do not mind at all being put up there with. Sorry to make you crave White Castle hamburgers. They're not very healthy or anything like that. So
White Castle is pretty hard to find. I mean, it seems like if you're in an area that has White Castle, they're all over the place. But in other situations, I mean, you got to go to like another time zone to find White Castle nowadays.
Yeah.
I actually was watching one of those Food Paradise shows, and they were highlighting fans of White Castle. Like, there's like this White Castle cult and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And this one married couple literally went into a White Castle and stole the garbage can with the White Castle logo on it and brought it home. They stole the garbage can out of the White Castle restaurant. Let that sink in, gentlemen. Can you imagine? That is a pretty sick level of fandom. Can we agree on that?
Oh yeah. Oh,
yeah. I guess you just throw up into the garbage can with the White Castle logo on it. Why not?
Oh, I got a whole story about that, but I'll let my brother tell it one day. The 24th, Deshaun watching the kids, you could give the Cleveland. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all.
He was getting about 66 different women massaging him. I think it was 67, 66, 60. I was in the upper 60s, I'm pretty sure.
It's absolutely crazy. Sean actually makes a really good point here. You know, if I was Baker and Deshaun Watson is suspended, a lot of people saying, oh, he should say screw it, pretend he's hurt, not play. And that is absolutely false. What Baker Mayfield should do is put his heart and soul in it and do everything in his power to bring that team to the playoffs and win lots of games and just make them eat shit the year after that for what they did to him. You know what I mean?
I see where it's going.
You know what I mean? So that's what I would do. I would shove it up there. I would shove it up their throats, man. I'd come out there and play my ass off and do everything I could to win and make them understand you gave up all of that, all that money, all that capital, you gave up all that. You had your quarterback already right here.
I think what Baker Mayfield does now, I think let's try to get into a day in the life of Baker Mayfield. I think he sleeps on probably one of those like I don't know, purple mattresses, chili sleeps, whatever the latest bougie mattress is, right? Where you can control the temperature and everything like that with his wife by his side. Wakes up, he reaches his hand over to the nightstand where his cell phone has been charging all night long. You know, the iPhone is all nice and charged up 100%. He flips that thing on. First thing he does, he calls his agent. Any updates on getting me the hell out of Cleveland? That's the first 2 to 3 minutes of his day every morning now. I guarantee it.
Probably. But look, if he can't play anywhere else, you know.
Oh, we got a Bears guy here.
It could be J. Cole. But.
It very well could. Yeah, the Bears. Do you have any discussion questions?
But if you are really a Bears fan, which he's not, it's J. Cole. But if you happen to be a Bears fan, welcome to the conversation.
By the way, this was audio. He'd probably say I'm from Chicago, Illinois. And if you say Illinois, we know you have no idea what the hell you're talking about. All right, so never say Illinois. Do not ever do that.
White Mana. I probably
heard all about it.
Yeah, I think Sean was the one that sent me the link. Someone sent me the link, and it looks awesome. There's none near me, so
there's only one.
Had it.
There's only one location, and it's not like I think you got to drive there. It's not like near a train or anything like that. Like you have to be going to White Manor. You can't just stumble across White Manor. But yeah, I've seen it everywhere on TV for sure.
Isn't it New York or something?
It's in Jersey. It's in Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta check that. I gotta check that out. Next time I'm in, I'll Big Nick take me.
If that happens, I'm coming along for that trip. I got to do that and then go to Rutt's Hut in Clifton, New Jersey for one of their deep fried hot dogs with the homemade relish. I'd always want to try one of those hot dogs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm from.
You're welcome, Chris.
Yeah, John, that last testimony was gruesome to read about, man. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. Well, J. Cole wouldn't have been able to spell Illinois, would he?
I've already put like IL in there.
But the problem is I don't see any more messages from him. So,
What section of Chicago are you from? The Bears?
Yeah, the Bears. What part of Chicago are you from? Like what suburb? Or just name 2 or 3 suburbs of Chicago really fast.
Because remember, I lived there for 20 years. Between Chris Bradigan and I, we can. Yep. You've been outed.
He's been.
No, you cannot. I am not a fan of ricotta cheese, despite being Italian. Not a ricotta guy. so I don't really eat lasagna much.
Oh, it's in Hackensack.
You ought to know by now.
I've got to go there, man. You know me, I'm a foodie. I've got to try it.
Oh, yeah. That is absolutely true. I don't know White Rose, but I definitely know White Manna. Does the White Manna fall from heaven? That's my question.
So anyway, we didn't say hello to some people. Chris Bradigan, what's up, my friend? Old Dave Etcheverry, I did mention him. Jets fan United.
Right.
I don't know if you were here initially. Salty Nalty is in the house. And
oh, Lord.
I think I saw somebody else that I didn't get to say hello to. One of our friends. I know Iowan was here. Dark Soldier's here.
Yep.
I don't know if Iowan is still here, though. He's a little bit of a, should I say, grandma when it comes to this stuff. He gets very tired and he goes to sleep early.
I can't wait until, the last thing he said was, I can't wait until Friday's mysterious Jeremy disappearance. And then he disappeared himself. How about that? That's the pot calling the kettle black, isn't it now?
Oh, my God. And look, he couldn't
He's
resist.
by Ohio. Oh, my God.
More evidence that it's him because he goes right after Matthew Smith.
Chris asked which part of downtown. He said, oh, by Ohio. You know, you could have picked a bordering state, genius. Oh, he means Ohio Street downtown. That's right, Ohio Street. That's what he was referring to. There's Ohio Street downtown. Okay.
Iowan is still here. He's just listening.
All right.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
I don't understand why PFF thinks that.
They're just gonna close in like this on you. They're gonna come to life.
I don't understand why PFS has Robert Saleh ranked the lowest. Like, how did they do that ranking? Because Frankie always used to talk about PFF and said, "Oh, yeah. they have a system." But how do you have a system for a coach?
They did a whole thing. I think that I could try to pull this up really quick, but yeah, they were comparing like offense, defense, and doing like some sort of rating based off how they did compared to how they actually did. All right, I'm going to take a look. Now, they excluded first-year coaches. So when you factor that in, Saleh came in 26 out of 26. So this is from PFF. So right there, it's full of crap.
Right.
So let's see. So PFF's breakdown, offensive rank, 25th out of 26th, minus 18 points scored a season. Defensive rank, 26 out of 26, positive 18 points allowed a season. And the only note that I see here is Saleh's Jets did struggle in his first season as a head coach, but injuries and a roster lacking in talent across the board mean that his impact estimate is likely lower than it should be. It's not even that negative of a write-up, to be honest. I mean, they even acknowledged that he didn't have quite as much talent to work with, and they acknowledged the injuries. So it's like, you know what? If these guys get their stuff together and Zach Wilson becomes a good, I'm not even saying great, but a good quarterback this year, all of a sudden it's going to make Robert Saleh look like a freaking genius.
Yeah.
So
and
we'll be on to the next story in like 2 days. This will be old hat before you know it, guys.
Kevin brings up something that I've been preaching a year ago. I saw a video about. I'm not sure it was this guy Bobby Peter, but I saw a video about a year ago that was talking about the fact that if you look at this offense, this Shanahan's West version of the West Coast offense, it goes up like literally 8 to 11 points per game, typically in other places like in Washington, Atlanta, Denver, San Francisco. So if we, if we have any kind of jump like that, even if we were to jump 7-8 points a game on average, can you imagine? And then when you factor in the amount of talent we added. So I just hope that the fact that we added so many new players and so much new talent doesn't keep us in year one mode, because so many people have got to learn it. But the good news is that Lincoln Tomlinson doesn't have to learn anything new.
No.
And Garrett Wilson seems to fit the system perfectly as far as crisp route running, getting off the line of scrimmage quickly. So that's a positive. Breece Hall, it doesn't really matter, man. If you block for Breece Hall, everyone's going to see what Breece Hall does. And even when you don't block for him, we've seen tons of tape where they don't block for him. And guess what he does? He just makes some kind of adjustment and makes himself super skinny and just slides through somewhere else. So
he does a spin move.
It's going to be exciting.
Let's see if his spin moves work in the NFL. I'm going to say that until I actually see it work.
I mean, Matt Ryan struggled the first year with that offense. You know what I mean? Like it's and Zach was a rookie coming in who was being given an average of like 1.8 seconds per drop back. So
that many, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of crazy. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens with this offense. The potential is just ginormous.
Yeah, 1.8 seconds to throw the ball and a 12% drop rate, highest in the league.
Yeah.
Two things that I am confident are going to be a lot better this upcoming season. So,
hey, what's up? Talking Jets with Tico. I keep thinking you're like assuming you're a dad already. What's your son doing? Is he chilling? He's chilling a little bit longer. He's hanging out. He's too comfortable to come out. Hasn't peeked his head out yet to the world. What's going on, man? We need
still swinging in the hammock.
We need an update, brother. We need to know what's going on. Eventually, I don't know. Like, I didn't know if he was thinking that he was coming early or if he's late. But if he's late, they're gonna schedule a day and just do it. So, how can Judge Salah off 1 year? Yeah, how can you judge him? Especially because let's get one thing straight, okay? Salah didn't come in saying, I got to turn this team around and I've got to win 10 games year one and I got to do whatever it takes to do it. JD didn't do that and Salah didn't do that. That's not the expectation they set. They came in and said, year one, we have to start changing the personnel. We need to start bringing in the right kind of players. We need to start implementing the right systems. Even if the players aren't a good fit, we're going to change, and we're going to, number one of all, we're going to change the culture. So you can't judge them on wins or plays or statistics because year one was about changing the culture, and it was about implementing systems that are going to be there, and the only thing that will change are the players. Meaning, when players leave, the reason, just like with Pittsburgh and with Baltimore and with Green Bay, the reason why players will leave and will continue to win in the future is because we will have a strong system. And that was what year one was about. So it's the very casual, not knowledgeable, not paying attention Jet fan that was saying same old Jets, because they can only base it on one thing, and that was our record. And they didn't look inside on what was going on inside this organization.
But at some point, it does become about winning. And I think at we're at the point now where we have to see a market improvement. To be honest, I don't want to be in a position where we're on Tankathon, in October, and and the highlight of our offseason becomes mock drafts. I'm looking forward to when a mock draft becomes like, okay, well, we're not going to have a chance at these guys because we're not drafting until the teens or even the early 20s, dare I say. So, I mean, to me right now, here's what I do know about Robert Saleh. He himself is attracting good players to the Jets. If you don't believe me, go back and watch Jordan Whitehead's introductory press conference. That is all you're going to need to know. Right there. What was the reason you came? Coach, it wasn't about the money, he said. It's about Coach Saleh. That tells me something. And I saw after they won one of their games this season, the one where he had COVID and he was sequestered in the hotel room, aka his residence. Mm-hmm. And and you just saw it. He was like, it was like the opposite of Jeremy before he got kidnapped the other night. Just a complete look of delight. And they were going crazy for him, and he was right there with them. The only thing you can say is maybe he could. The only thing we don't really get to see is if he has to put his foot down, does he do that? Now, clearly, this is not the kind of a coach who's going to knock his players in the media. This is not like Bill Parcells. I think especially nowadays you have to be extra media conscious with all the different channels and all the sound bites and stuff like that. So he's going to be very conscious of that. But I wonder if there is ever a player he has to discipline, is he comfortable doing that? So I just want to know that he can be a bit of a hard ass, or he can be the bad guy when he needs to be the bad guy, as opposed to just being their buddy.
Yeah. It's no, it's true. I think that's why it's good that we have, that was the whole point that we tried to have go in with Knapp last year, and they had that, unfortunately, that horrible tragedy.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why they wanted to have a veteran coach, and they want to have older coaches in there, right? Because even though he's the head coach, it doesn't mean there can't be people in the room that can help teach him some things and share experiences with him and help grow him. Because there's no question, first year, second year coach, I mean, that he needs that he's going to benefit for that. So, from that. So I think that, that's something that's gonna have to like a player. That's something that's just gonna have to develop within him as a coach.
Yeah, and also be nice not to have to call a timeout to avoid a delayed game after we get a turnover or something like that.
Yeah.
Those types of scenarios have to go bye-bye.
Yeah, well, I mean, even Pete Carroll, we had him when he was younger on the Jets, and we saw him make those, do some dumb things. I don't know if you remember. I remember him doing some dumb things, and embarrassing himself and the team a little bit, in his year as a coach with the Jets. And then he developed obviously into a Super Bowl coach. So, and won championships, in college, like won that, I don't know if he won a national title with USC, but he came pretty damn close.
No, he won at least one. I think he may have actually won.
He did win one, right?
He won multiple, I thought.
Yeah. So, so it's like anything else in any job in the world. You can grow and improve. You don't start it in your prime. You don't become a head coach in the NFL in year one. You enter the prime of your career as a head coach. It takes time. You have to develop. So, and it's just about being given the opportunity. And I think the way the players love him and are responding to him and the way he carries himself, this guy deserves some time. Obviously we can't come out and win 3 games this year or 4 games this year, obviously. But if we win 7 games, 8 games or something, and people are frustrated, and I start hearing that we've got to get a new coach, it's going to piss me off. I know that.
I'll be curious to see if they win 7 games. How did the season go? Did they get off to a really bad start, then come back late in the season? But then again, that's when the schedule does lighten up a little bit. I would hope that their wins aren't against just the Detroits and the Chicagos and a team resting their starters and that kind of stuff. There needs to be like a signature win somewhere that we could point back to and say that was a big moment. Not just one play here and there. Our signature win was really beating Cincinnati last season, and Zach Wilson wasn't on the field for that game. So we need something, like beating the Rams like we did 2 years ago. But we felt dirty about that because of the whole draft position situation. So this is the type of year where I expect to be competitive in just about every game. But over time, I want to see them figure out a way to pull those types of games out, because that tells me that the coaches are developing these players well, the players are buying into it, and it tells me Joe Douglas definitely drafted the right players.
Yeah.
Taking those close games.
So, Tigo, I don't think it's one straight answer one way or the other. I like, in my opinion, I think that we are going to put the best players out there, but we're not going to run and get veterans to take away the opportunity for young guys that we believe in to play and be who they're going to be. So, I just think that like it's not going to be the same as year one. That's why I think we didn't go with Echols. If we were able to get Reed and bring in Sauce, and we did it, even if Echols is going to end up being good. We are trying to win. There's no question. There's no question about the fact that we're trying to win. Because if you look at this team on paper, there's no excuse not to be trying to win. So I don't think at this point we're going to keep a younger person in the lineup when a veteran player would be better for the sake of the future. I don't think that way. I think that we'll develop that young player without having them play. I think we're going to start the best 22 in the starting positions, or like possible, humanly possible. I think we're going to do everything humanly possible to win. But I do think there are exceptions. We're not going to replace a young player that we love with potential with a 33-year-old because they might be a little better, but have not even close to the same ceiling as that young player. So I don't think we're going to do that. We're not in win the Super Bowl this year or bust mode, but we're going to play the best guys that we have on the roster.
As we should. I mean, there's a reason why we didn't sign a Richard Sherman or a Steven Nelson, those types of guys, when they were just sitting out there, when a lot of us thought that cornerback might be the weakest position on this team, and that it was saying something. But we didn't, and we worked with the players that we had, and it did work out. Now, I would start off, the bottom line is this. You play the players who earn the, I'll tell you, with this look in the thing highlighted, I feel like Wilson from Home Improvement. But howdy ho, good neighbor. So, but anyway, I put it this way. I'm a Joyner fan. I think if all things are equal, I would start with the veterans, but you certainly have to rotate these guys in. Defensive line is not the only place where you're going to rotate players, especially on defense. So if players are earning their time, I have enough confidence in the staff that they will know to play them, and they will find a way to put them in a position where they are successful. If that means that Pinnock and Joyner are splitting time at safety 50-50, then that's great. Then I'm game with that. So, yeah, I have no issue with it. You just play who earns the spot. I don't care if they're rookie. I don't care if they're a veteran.
Look, and it's also depends on record, right? I mean, if it's game 12 and we're out of the playoff hunt, maybe you say let's give Pinnock more playing time. But I mean, if we are 5-5 at some point in the season, we're 5-5 right now, and in a chance for a winning record and in the hunt. So let's say we're 6-4. You play whoever gives you the best chance to win the game. That's simple. If Joyner's better, you play him. If Pinnock could play next year if he's going to develop and get better. But like, if we're 6-4, you play the best possible players, where you can't sit there and get fancy and say, "Oh, I'm going to play the young guy because of the future." No way. But you know what? If we're 3-7, you might say Joyner's not going to be here in a year. We're not bringing this guy back. Let's see what we got with Pinnock and put him in. I'm not going to complain about that.
I mean, it sounds almost too simple, but sometimes simple makes the most sense. And I would say in this case, it definitely does. That might mean even playing like a Jeremy Ruckert over CJ Uzama later in the season. Let's hope it doesn't necessarily come to that. Hey, David. And Iowa, I appreciate your optimism, man. That's good.
Me too.
That is good. 12-5. I'm gonna go. How about I go 11-4-1? Earlier this about a month ago, I predicted we would tie one game because I think we're gonna have close games, and I think one of them is gonna go to overtime. And just with these ridiculous rules that they have, I think we're gonna tie for the first time in I think like 20 or 30 years. I have a hunch that's gonna happen, and half the fan base will love it. Half the fan base will be livid about it because that just sounds like the Jets fan base, doesn't it?
Yeah. Hey, we almost had a tie against Tennessee, right?
Very close. Yeah, only because Randy Bullock missed the field goal.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget that, but that did happen.
Yeah. That would have been crazy if we would have had a tie. But I'm glad that we didn't. We ended up getting the win, I'll tell you that. But look at that. You never know, man. You never know. Look,
check with me after week 13. I'll let you know.
Yeah. Jets Mez says it's better than a loss. That's true. But I would have been pissed if we didn't get a win in that Tennessee game, because let's face it, on that one play where Zach had like the 7-yard pass onto the sideline, and he was rolling, and it was a 7-yard pass, and it would have put the game away because we would have gotten the first down, and he just missed it. Like, I was so frustrated at that. And there was another play in the end zone. where it was just an easy give me touchdown that he missed, and I did not want to tie. I wanted to win for that game. So.
Yeah, it seems like when we think about that particular game, it comes back to the big plays that Wilson made to Corey Davis, the touchdown, and then the long bomb to Keelan Cole, and then Bullock missing the field goal. That's about all most of us think about, I think, at this point. It feels like the Tennessee game is such a distant memory, but man, what a surprising victory that was, especially beating them with Derrick Henry in the line. That makes it even that much more impressive in looking back. But hey, we took a game from them and from the best team in the AFC and then the AFC champions. So let's see, Tigo. According to simulations, the Jets are 3-3 going into Week 7. Okay, so refresh my memory. The first 4 games are against the AFC North. Then comes Miami. Who's the 6th game against?
New England.
That is New England? Okay.
I think.
Is it New England? Hey, Chad, help us out here. Who's game 6 against?
It's possible it's Buffalo.
I think Buffalo's later. Yeah,
Oh,
because they got a player suspended, and I was checking to see if he'd be back for the Jets game. But no, we're still talking about dating grandmas. Okay, thanks. Thanks for the help, guys. Appreciate it. Not the end of the world. All right, I'll pull this up really quick. By the way, isn't it cool that we have a preseason game at home? On national TV against Atlanta. So live preseason at home. Week 6 is actually at Green Bay.
Oh.
If we're 3-3, that's pretty good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look.
As long as the loss is Green Bay, because we don't, we could drop in that NFC game. That's about the least damaging loss we could have, I'd say, is the one at Green Bay.
The truth is, if we go into the bye week 4-5, we're actually we're going to be in the hunt, because if we go into that bye week 4-5, if you look at the rest of our schedule at that point,
yep,
it's going to be exciting.
It's going to be crazy, and if we could, and I like that we come out of the bye, play in New England, at New England. If there's a game where you might want a little extra time to prepare for, I think that's a pretty good one to pick. So we lost to Green Bay in overtime
in the simulation. Let me tell you something. People will laugh, but that simulation is as good as PFF.
Yeah, I think the simulation I saw, I watched one of them, and I think we beat Baltimore in that game. So I was like, yep, 1-0, I'm good. Let's just stop here while we're ahead.
I don't think that beating Baltimore, would that be all that of a shock? And that's no disrespect to Baltimore. I just don't think that right now Baltimore is like this insanely top-notch team. It's not like they're the Chargers. It's not like they're Denver. It's not like they're, it's not like, sorry, it's not like they're Buffalo. They're not one of those kind of teams that are unbeatable. I think Baltimore is the kind of team that could lose to anyone on any given week. And I think that there's no reason why we should just be assuming that we're not going to go in there and have a really good chance to beat Baltimore. I think there's a very solid chance we're going to go in and win that game.
So right now, just talking about the odds for that game, if you had spread is for Week 1, what do you think it is right now for Jets Ravens?
It's at Jets. They probably have them favored it by 6.5 points.
Yeah, pretty good. They're favored by 5.5. The Ravens are.
Yeah.
To me, the way I'm feeling about this game right now, if I had to pick it, I would take the Jets with the points. But if I'm picking straight up, I would pick Baltimore to win the game.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I predicted it with my brother. Like in our show, I said I slightly favor the Ravens winning. Like I think that they have a slight advantage to win, just because they're more solid of a team. And we have all these new players, so there's more of a chance that we're going to be still having a little bit of issue, like a lack of chemistry. Game 1, that we might not have it together yet because there are going to be some new players and people, in new situations. But I certainly, again, didn't have it as a strong opinion or a strong feeling thing. To me, it's close.
Yeah, it definitely can be. but a team that focuses on running the ball, which the Ravens do, I'm worried that that's a bad matchup for this Jets defense because I've said if there's one facet of the Jets that I don't have confidence in, it's the ability to stop the run. So to me, that's something that they got to prove. Also, we all know Justin Tucker, if they can get down the field, is as good as a kicker as there has ever been in the league. I definitely think top 2, top 3 of all time. I am curious, though. I feel like we're focusing a lot on Ravens offense versus Jets defense. I'm curious about how the Jets are going to try to attack the Ravens defense. That's going to be very interesting. I wonder what kind of a game plan Coach LaFleur is going to have in mind. Very interesting on what he does.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, hey man, there's a chance that we're just gonna freaking crush him because Lamar's, Jackson's been a little bit questionable, and what if we just pound the ball in their face and just run up and down the field and they can't stop us? Like what if we just open up great, like the opposite of last year, and the running game is working and Breece Hall is just going absolutely ballistic. Michael Carter are just running up and down the field, and maybe we win that game that way by keeping their offense off the field and just controlling the ball. I don't know.
Well, let's hope Travis Jones has a horrible first game. I think that would definitely come in handy if that was the case.
Yeah. I'm just a little bit worried about some of the like Hamilton.
Baltimore to me is like New England in that they're not going to beat themselves. They're not going to give us the game. We have to take it from them.
Yeah.
So to me, that's the one thing. They may not be the most talented team. I think we all know that, but they're coached very well. John Harbaugh is a fantastic head coach. And he'll have a game plan in mind ready for the Jets. Even if they've lost Wayne Martindale, they'll have a plan. And the only way I think that they could really blow this is if Lamar just has a completely ridiculous game where he's just is indecisive and he's confused. If he's mentally messed with, then maybe we could do that. Dang, Iowa, with that. Look at you, man. You should be like on NFL prime time with that. You can take Drew Brees' job at NBC.
Where's the wackiness? What kind of wackiness are you looking for?
People come here for that hard-hitting content.
Oh, my God. David Gerard. Something underrated for the season, the fact that Seymour, Corey, and Garrett go against Sauce and Reed every single day.
Yep.
Would be great, I think. I think it's going to definitely look. It's definitely going to be. I think the advantage of that for sure is that when they go into that game, they're not going to be going against guys that they've never seen before as far as the level of competition. That's what's great as you get better as a team. So it's not like Elijah Moore's having a great camp. He's looking great. But the reason is nobody's able to cover him because there's not enough talented players on our team. And then he goes against the guys in the league and he gets shadowed. That's not the case because he's going to be going up against Reed and Gardner, and Sauce. So like if he's going to be fighting for everything in practice, there are going to be games where it feels easy because he's not going to be going up against a Sauce or a CJ Reed.
Yeah, and for years we heard about what kind of advantage, especially during the Rex days, how much better the defense was doing than the offense. We were terrified of the offense, and not that they were the best offense of all time, but they managed to be competent during the course of a season. There were many times when they made big plays that they had to make, but they had to go against such a good defense that it made them that much better. You just hope that this is the kind of team where each side of the football, the players on each side want to make the other side better. I think that's one of the things they're really doing is, the whole welcome to the family thing that they kept telling every single draft pick. They want to build that camaraderie, Where did I get the Jets USA behind me? On the internet. Yeah, I was able to custom order it. Wasn't too expensive either. I think they're still available online, but I just placed the order online, and it is a pretty cool sign. So, yeah.
I don't know about 6-star receivers because I don't know if I'd
No.
ever call Braxton Berrios a star. I think he could be very good and effective and be one of our key players in his role. But I don't think he's going to be. It's not like Braxton Berrios is going to now turn into Cooper Kupp. But
Have you seen his girlfriend? He's a star. He qualifies.
I think we've seen the ceiling for Corey Davis. I think he just could be a really good. He's a tweener. He's like a really good number 2, or a WR1 that's weaker in the league. Like he's kind of like a tweener, but he's a good solid receiver. Elijah Moore, I believe could be a star, and Garrett Wilson, obviously, we're hoping could be a star. Mims, I don't know, star anymore. I mean, maybe, but like not this year. I mean, like I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen for Mims. I think at this point we're just hoping Mims could just be a decent, good wide receiver that you could have in the game and trust and be reliable and make good plays. And you know what I mean? Like I haven't set the expectation and the bar very high for him. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that he's going to put last year behind him and be very good.
Interesting point you made. And, we talked quite a bit about Corey Davis, but you said you feel like he's hit his ceiling. Do you feel like he can at least get back to where he was when A.J. Brown was on the other side of him in Tennessee, like during that last season? Do you think that's a fair expectation?
Yeah, look, I think Corey Davis is a very good player. I think he had some. I think part of the drops last year was just the situation for the whole team. I think that the whole team was just in just disarray. And I think that it's just a contagious thing when everything's rushed, everybody's thinking of trying to do too much. I think when the team, Corey Davis on an offense now for the Jets that is going to be more settled down is going to be Corey Davis, which is a very good player, a very good wide receiver that will be very, very worth $12.5 million. Like people were saying, do you think we're going to end up, picking up his, third year at $12.5 million? Mm. Well, if he's good at all, of course we are. That's a bargain for a wide receiver. So if he's the Corey Davis he was at Tennessee, there's no question we're picking up that third year happily because 12 and a half is a great deal if he's a solid 800 plus yard receiver.
Yeah, to me, I think about these receivers that we have. I don't know if any of them is going to get to 1,000 yards. It's very easy to say, oh, these two guys are going to get 1,000. Breece Hall's going to get 1,000. These two guys are going to get this, and this guy will get that. There's only so many plays in the game, okay? Yeah. There's only one football on the field at a time, okay? But I can see a realistic scenario where we have 3 receivers in that 700 to 900 yard range. Because I think it's going to be divided pretty evenly, and then throw in a tight. I could see maybe Uzomah and Conklin throwing in about 400 to 500 yards each with a couple of touchdowns. I think it's going to be a very diversified offense, one of the most diversified that I think we've ever seen as Jets fans. Because when we have a good offense, usually we have 1 running back and 2 wide receivers. Ivory, Marshall, Decker, Curtis, Keyshawn, Corbett. Those types of scenarios, or Cole's Corbett and Martin. It's the same thing. I think this is a scenario where we can see as many contributors to this offense that we've had, and we literally don't know where the ball's going. Now, I remember, years ago, remember when Minnesota traded Randy Moss? When they got rid of Randy Moss. I remember right after that, the Minnesota players were like, now you have no idea where the ball is going to go. Well, you know where the ball went? Back to the other team pretty quickly because none of them had the talent of Randy Moss. But this is a situation where we have a big cast of contributors, but they all have their own talents and they can contribute. Sean, thanks for coming. You have a good night, buddy. You take care.
Take care, Sean.
Yeah. So I really believe that this offense, I don't think it's going to take them long to find their rhythm. I really don't. I think the biggest thing is figuring out what players thrive in different positions and in different formations. Like at what point do we put this guy in the slot? At what point do we have Breece Hall on the field versus Michael Carter on the field? All those types of stuff. What do we use 2 tight ends here? Do we use 3 tight ends? Do we use fullback? Do we put Nick Bawden in here? Mike LaFleur has so many puzzle pieces to figure out. Can he put them together?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a good problem to have.
It's a great problem to have. It sure is, because injuries will take care of it, of some of that depth. Let's just be honest. It will happen.
If you were to tell me that there'd be 2 players on the Jets offense, not positional players that get 1,000 yards from scrimmage plus, like that hit 1,000. I know it sounds crazy. It sounds absolutely nuts, but my number 1 guy would be Breece Hall. And I know people might think that sounds nuts, but it's just that if you told me 2 people were going to do it, I would assume one of them is going to be a running back. And I really love Michael Carter, but I just, if I had to pick, I just think Breece Hall is going to be the better running back. And I think Michael Carter is going to be very good. I think he's going to be very good. I just think that Breece Hall is that good. Like, he's that special.
But I'll tell you what's not special is getting 1,000 yards, because in 17 games, all you need to average is 59 yards per game, running and receiving. That's not asking for a whole heck of a lot now.
Well, yeah, but he's going to be sharing.
Thank you, Buffalo Jets fan.
Yeah, but he's going to be sharing those carries with Michael Carter, and rightfully so, because Michael Carter is very good. Don't forget, he was top 5 in the NFL in yards after contact. So he's going. They're a running back by committee team, and they have the talent to do it. And even Coleman's going to get carries. But I think that Breece Hall is going to do it because he's a home run hitter, and he's going to have some big runs. And I think he's going to force their hands. I think he's going to be so good at times, you're not going to be able to take him out of that game because he's just too good. The other guy, and I think that Buffalo knows exactly where I'm going because he knows me well enough to know that's what I'm going to say, is that the other guy that would get 1,000 from scrimmage if I had to choose 2 guys is obviously Elijah Moore. I think Elijah Moore is poised, outside of Zach Wilson, Elijah Moore is poised to have that breakout new star in the NFL type season. Or player, if someone's going to break out other than Zach Wilson, because I think Zach Wilson is going to take a big step and be looked upon as a much better quarterback. But as far as like a star positional player, someone who breaks out as a star, it's Elijah Moore.
I could definitely agree with that over just about any player. It definitely makes sense. Let's see. Last year, Moore last year had 5 rushes for 54 yards. Okay. And receiving, he had how many yards per game did he average? 538, which is about 43 receptions, 538 yards, 12.5 yards per reception, about 49 yards per game. Yeah, there's no reason that Moore can't add 10 yards per game to that. And and get to 1,000. Now, of course, he needs to stay on the field, to say the least. But in terms of the 2 guys that could reach 1,000 yards, I definitely think that makes sense. Michael Carter, his long run last year was 55 yards, so he may not have the great acceleration, but you don't necessarily need the best acceleration in the world to be a great running back. I don't know. I just want to stick up for Carter because I feel like he's being forgotten by a lot of people. So, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to keep defending Carter while everybody's jumping on the Breece Hall bandwagon. I don't know. I think that's kind of becoming my role now. Mm-hmm. But that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo, I think you could make the predictions and not worry about that the total is too high, because I realize we're going to be wrong and right about some of them, right? So you just go with your heart for every player. And yeah, of course, you're not going to get every prediction for every Jet player right. Someone's going to get hurt. Something's going to happen. They won't have the yards. But that doesn't mean you won't get some of them right, and you might nail some of them. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously, as optimistic fans, if you add up the totals of what we predict for each player, it would be record-breaking numbers. But don't forget, this system that we're in has a habit of improving 8 to 10 points per game in its second season. And if you look at how many we scored last year per game and add 10 points to it, it's going to be a pretty special year offensively.
There you go.
So, look, I don't care if a Buffalo fan came out and said that it's really blown out of proportion. The divisional rivals talk trash all the time. They talk crap. They see, we see the best in our team's moves, and we see the worst in our rivals' moves. That's just how it is. So, yeah, it doesn't. No matter what the Buffalo fans are saying, first of all, their YouTube content providers were absolutely pissed when we took Brees Hall. So
Oh, yeah.
they were pissed. So they overall, I know the Buffalo Bills fan base is not thinking that we didn't get good talent because we got the guy that they wanted, and that was the fourth player we selected. That's not even counting the 3 players we added. Anybody that says that we're overestimating or exaggerating Sauce Gardner as a talent and what he brings to a team just is not watching or paying attention and just doesn't know what they're talking about. Because, and I want to say that it's not just from his college performance. This is already happening in OTAs.
Did you see him in practice
It's
today?
already happening.
Did you see him in practice? What he was doing?
It's ridiculous.
Okay,
It's
but did you
ridiculous.
see what? But did you see what he was wearing? Let's put it that way.
No, I didn't see what he was
Okay,
wearing.
he had these big red mitts on, like oven mitts,
Mhm.
basically. The reason why he was doing that is that way he couldn't use his hands as much. It would reduce his instinct to clutch and grab because he couldn't use his fingers when he was wearing gloves. So he had like these mitts on. So that way he has to focus on his cover skills as opposed to grabbing the player, which would reduce the risk of a penalty.
No penalties.
That's Sauce Gardner, ladies and gentlemen.
I heard that he was already talking trash. Like he knocked one down on Berrios and got in his face, and he was just like, no, 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 no. But what I like is he's going up against all these different types of receivers. Like Berrios is really smart. Adam is going, but what I like is he's going up against Corey Davis, so he's going up against big, strong veteran target. He's going against Garrett Wilson, who's absolute fire, super fast. Difficult to stay with, very slippery. He's going against Berrios, super smart, always in the right place, exactly where he's supposed to be. So Gardner is getting, Sauce is getting all this experience playing against these different kinds of receivers, and all I'm reading is that he's not looking like a rookie. He's looking like a shutdown corner. He's going to be so special that anybody who's underestimating what he's going to do for our team is just seriously, seriously going to be in for a big surprise, and they're really sleeping on this kid.
There's some anti-jet bias going there.
There's what?
There would be some anti-jet bias going there.
Yeah.
Yep. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you.
Okay, just making sure. I had to plug my phone in, and I think I pulled the headphones out. So just want to make sure I didn't go back into chipmunk mode again.
You know why I turned out to be such a cruel man, WA2K99?
Why is that?
Because I didn't take Elvis's advice.
Mm-hmm. That one got me all shook up. JFU, we'll see you later, man.
Oh, who's leaving?
Jets Fan United.
I really love this new guy, the Bears 45.
No. All right, I gotta tell you how to do it. I gotta show you how to do it right. Okay, it's the Bears.
The Bears. Remember, Ditka, the Bulls, Ditka. It's like, what if Ditka had to play against an entire football team? The LA Rams versus Mike Ditka. Well, would it be 11 Ditkas or would it just be one Ditka? It would just be one Ditka. Ditka.
It's a shame that we couldn't have. Can you imagine? It's a shame we never had Ditka as a Jets coach. Man, can you imagine the press conference? Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, Jesus.
Woo. Him in New York. That would have been pretty. That would have been pretty special. Can I bring the real Jeremy back? Yeah, that's yeah.
I don't know. Iowan Jets fan. Did I change, Iowan? Did I change? Do you think I changed, Iowan? Let's ask Chris Bradigan. Chris Bradigan, have I changed since I've become? And I want to say it in the words because this is really funny. Because it wasn't J. Cole, but somebody else said it. Somebody on Twitter said, "Ever since you became this YouTube big shot."
Oh, I didn't know you'd reach big shot level.
And I just responded. I was like, "Big shot."
You have to be a big shot. Big shot.
I was like, big shot? I do live streams, and at most on a good night, there's 30, 35 of us talking and chatting. Big shot?
You got curtains behind you and stuff. That makes you a big shot now.
How am I?
Hey, I am no big shot. My chair is the big shot. Okay.
He's saying they're right. How am I a big shot?
If you're a big shot, what does that make Buffalo or Green Bean or O'Leary? I mean, Jake Asman, how big of a shot are they?
I know. If I'm a big shot, then they're like
a gallon, you know? You're like a shot. They're like a gallon.
They're like an A celebrity. They're Brad Pitt.
They're walking the green carpets to all the big events. They're going to get invited to like casino night or whatever the big fundraisers the Jets are doing nowadays.
I'm going to go around Twitter saying that now. When someone disagrees with me, I'm going to say, I'm kind of a big deal.
Oh, I will.
Oh, my God. Look at this one.
YouTube wanted to hold that comment for review. I'm like, we're going to hit the show button on that one.
What do you mean was going to be the best man at your wedding? I am going to be the best man at your wedding.
You are his father and all.
He acts like it's his decision. Dude, if you get married, I'm the best man at your wedding, okay?
I think it'll be her decision if
you
get married, okay? Yeah, no. We get married because she decides that we're allowed to marry her, okay?
Yeah.
She's in charge of that one.
Give me a break. I'm so the best man at his wedding. He knows it. He'll act like he's mad at me, and I've done this and I've done that. But if we were in the parking lot of a Jets game, if all the Jets people, if we all showed up and we were in the parking lot and someone came at me to attack me, that kid would be the first one standing between them and me. And it would be funny because while he was doing it, as he's like brawling with him or whatever, he'd probably turn to me and say, "You broke my heart." But he'd still be fighting and protecting me.
You said hello to new people before you said hello to me.
Grandizer, I am at my parents' house in North Carolina. I am 2,600 miles away from my flags. I did watch your videos today about ESPN and thought to myself, damn, Jeremy, your lamp looks like a great bong. I was waiting for somebody to comment on the lamp. I told my wife when she was helping me with the tripod, I go, we got to get the lamp in the video. And because it's like, one of those grandparent lamp types things. And I'm so happy that somebody noticed. Thank you, Chris. You're the best, man. I love that you. Oh, oops. I said he was the best. That's going to hurt J. Cole's feelings.
Oh, man.
I did it again.
Chris is the best because he got a reference to a bong. His mind went to the bong. That's all it took.
Yes, I am in North Carolina, and I have been eating like I promised I would on vacation, man. When I'm on vacation, I just go crazy. And I'm telling you, we had Chinese food a few days ago, dim sum, but today we just did like things I miss about the East Coast. And one of them is just the Chinese restaurants on the East Coast, the egg rolls.
Really?
In California, they're like these healthy things. They're like summer rolls and spring rolls. They don't know about pork. They don't know about that. They don't know about deep frying. They're like baked, different kind of texture. They're not egg rolls.
Those cellophane wrapper.
I grew up on egg rolls, man. So today I had an egg roll. I'm probably going to have to run to the bathroom soon, but I had an egg roll.
Oh, you had an egg roll as in singular?
Oh, yeah, because I mixed it up. I had an egg roll. I had boneless. I try to get real spare ribs, the ones that come in the bag, but they only had boneless. So I got some spare rib meat, and then I got dumplings, steamed dumplings, man. Man, I love me a good East Coast Chinese restaurant, like bulletproof looking restaurant, hole in the wall place with them steamed dumplings and that little container of special soy sauce or whatever it is that you pour on it.
Duck sauce?
No, they give you it's not soy sauce, but it's still a black sauce. It's like
you get your soy sauce, you get your duck sauce, you get your hot mustard, and you get the fortune cookie. You have played the fortune cookie game, right? Do you do that? You know the one I mean? where you break open the cookie, you read the fortune aloud, and you end it with the phrase "in bed."
Oh yeah. You know
That's
what? You know how I played that out and it got boring though. I did it with every Billy Joel song. Like think of any Billy Joel song and add "in bed."
Only the good die young. In bed. We didn't start the fire. In bed. I
Tell
go to
her-
extremes. In bed.
Tell her about it in bed.
Leave a tender moment alone. In bed.
Captain Jack in bed.
I was going to say that one. You took Captain Jack. This sounds like a Steve Harvey Family Feud question. Like perfect. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, we're cracking each other up.
The River of Dreams in
bed.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Uptown Girl. Okay, we won't go there.
Uptown Girl in bed.
There you go. Yeah. Somebody's future wife in the group, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Somebody's future wife.
Oh.
I bet she never had a Backstreet Guy.
The longest time in bed.
Whoa.
Innocent man in bed.
No. The Stranger in bed.
Moving out in bed.
My Life in bed.
My God, the guy had so many hits. It's ridiculous. You can go on forever.
It's amazing he hasn't made like an actual album of words since the River of Dreams album. It's been almost 30 years.
Yeah. Didn't he do an instrumental though? He did
He's done the instrumentals, but in terms of writing actual lyrics, I think it's the River of Dreams album, which is pretty amazing.
She's got a way of bread.
She's got a way in bed. She's always a woman in bed. Pressure. Very good, Grandizer.
Pressure in bed. The Entertainer in bed.
Yep.
Oh my God.
The longest time I think was that was really, and Captain Jack. I think those scenes from an Italian restaurant in bed.
Well, scenes from an Italian restaurant in bed. And there were more. There were more good ones. Believe it or not, I don't know. But
I feel like now I'm starting to get an album cuts here. That'd be pushing it a little bit. Oh, this is the time in bed.
You're my home in bed.
Angry young man in bed. Honesty in bed. Okay.
Yeah.
That's another one, right?
What's up, Kelly Wilson? Kelly Wilson comes in and just hears us yelling out all these things in bed.
Kelly Wilson in bed. Okay. The Downeaster pictures of us both the Alexa. Wow.
Yeah, that he named that after his daughter.
That's right. Alexa Ray Joel.
I'm on the Downeaster, Alexa.
And I go where the ocean is deep. It was. That was what Jeremy said. It's any Billy Joel song, and you have to add it on to the Billy Joel songs. I've never heard anybody do that, but yes, that is pretty. That is pretty fantastic.
It just works. It might work with other artists, but somebody just in college told me do it with Billy Joel songs, and we started doing it. We were just cracking each other up. We're just like just reading out all these Billy Joel songs and adding in bed, But maybe it would work for like the Stones. I don't know. I can't get no satisfaction in bed.
The only thing that's tough with the Billy Joel songs, he has so many history ones like after towns like Leningrad and Allentown. Those don't work quite as well.
Yes,
Vienna.
Billy Joel definitely lives. Not only did he live in Long Island, he lives in Long Island. Billy Joel's a very big Long Island guy. He actually has a motorcycle. He has a motorcycle shop in Long Island to this day. He loves working on motorcycles. And when Stony Brook University, my alma mater, lost their music department, got hit by some hurricane when it was like there was a hurricane damage, and we lost our piano, like the big piano for the shows and everything. And Billy Joel donated one of his that he used to use in concert. he
Wow.
donated this like beautiful piano to the school and everything. So he's a great dude.
That is pretty awesome. Oh, you may be right in bed. We almost forgot about that one.
You may be right.
Yeah. Don't ask me why in bed. Okay, there you go.
It's still a rock and roll to me in bed.
All about soul in bed.
In bed.
That is a very underrated song, by the way. I always like that.
Oh
one.
yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a good karaoke song if you can pull it off. But if you
Oh,
can't
yeah.
pull that, yeah. But if you can't pull it off, yeah, you're gonna butcher it.
For else in bed.
Oh gosh, I found the entire song list. Oh my god, there's one called "Get It Right the First Time" in bed. I don't want to be alone in bed.
Zanzibar. Zanzibar in bed.
Zanzibar. Oh, Modern Woman in bed. No Man's Land in bed. Oh my gosh. Yeah, think about how she's right on time in bed. Sometimes a fantasy in bed.
Sometimes a fantasy.
I didn't know that song.
Oh,
Surprises in bed. That's not her style in bed.
My life in bed.
Yeah, I think we mentioned
that one.
Yeah, I think we did. You're only human in bed. I hope so. Oh, 1982. Where's the orchestra in bed? Okay. We've gone through about the whole catalog.
Okay. I mean, we must have covered him by now, but the guy's had so many hits. He's the best.
It's true. Oh, goodness.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, we talk about the whole ESPN thing, man. I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, I never missed NFL primetime. Back when you didn't have Red Zone and social media, I mean, to me, that was like the one thing I would always do with my dad is we'd watch NFL primetime together. You know, just think about the whole ESPN thing. Were you a NFL primetime guy back in the 80s and 90s?
Yeah, of course. Chris Berman.
Yeah, I mean, now it's kind of like the thing to do is to kind of pick on him a little bit, but you know, for his time, he was really good. I mean, yeah, wasn't the same when Tom Jackson left. I know they do like a version of it on ESPN Plus now, but it's like, yeah, when the NFL got ESPN, when they got on Sunday nights, that was basically the end of it.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
dude, I used to love watching, like, you know, Inside the NFL on HBO.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the, you know, and just the what was his name? The father and then the son did it, like the Jack Cable or something, like the voice of the NFL that would do like the narrations of the games and the highlights, and it just had like the best voice, like Jack.
When you say that voice, I think John Facenda, and then it became Harry Callis. It took over.
Okay, I just remember from like
must be something different. Yeah,
I just remember from like the NFL tapes, like when you go into the library of tapes and it's like, and there was no one better than Lyle Alzado from the Raiders. Like it would always be that guy's voice, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and hey, they put Madden on the cover of the video game as they should have this year. So at least there won't be a Madden curse this time around.
Right. Remember that?
Oh man, it was unbelievable. I mean, yeah, we could probably go through the names of the guys who just had bad years or got hurt. I mean, Dante Culpepper. I mean, there's a name that's been lost to history. I mean, Eddie George. I mean, we can go on and on with those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Grandizer say I think Steve Sable and
that's the name I was thinking about.
Steve Sable, yeah. So
I love
they do like the producing, but not so much the narration.
Back on the frozen tundra in Green Bay.
and then let's go to Summerall and Matt. Brett Favre is Brett Favre.
They would do like these deep analogies, like men in war in a brotherhood versus other men fighting to defend their home. You know, like that's something you would like.
It starts with a gun and it ends with a whistle. Yeah, some of those voices. Oh my gosh, I don't know how many cigarettes they had to smoke to get those voices, but man, they put you. They knew how to set the mood. They knew how to set those videos up.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, oh boy! And then I'm watching like one of the Jets history videos, and he goes, "Perhaps the best thing that can be said about the 1974 Jets season is that it's over."
That sounds so right.
And I feel like you could just kind of rewind and just insert a new year, like the last 10, 12 years now,
Yeah.
sadly enough.
And then there was Jet Butkus.
Kelly Wilson, can you guess Culpepper's number without looking? 11.
Is
Well,
it?
that's his jersey number, I thought. But the addition of the game, like the year of the game, no. I got to be honest with you, the last video game system that I used was Super Nintendo. After that, I switched over to the PC. I just played almost all sports games, but I never brought Xbox. I never brought PlayStation. But then EA eventually pulled out of doing the PC games, and I was like, well, guess that's it. But yeah, so I was using the PC for a long time.
I miss the Office linebacker commercials. I remember those. Like in the Office, some guy would just get tackled.
That's right.
Oh man, there was some good stuff, man. Back like they did some funny things in the NFL back then.
Yeah, I guess all those things seem cool at the time, especially when you're young and when you're growing up. And then when you get a little bit older, a little more, a little more jaded, it doesn't quite seem the same as it used to anymore. Or the new stuff, it's like, yeah, it's not like the how it was when I was a kid or whatever. What are you doing with the camera right now? Are you showing off the curtains, or are you trying to keep them at bay? What are you doing right now?
Grandizer likes the "You Make the Call" commercials.
Is that where they would play like part of a play, and then you have to decide? Like, okay, yeah.
No, well, wait a second. Now I'm confused because there was something else.
Okay.
There was something where you can call the play, but there was also something else where you had to call like the penalty, like the decision on the field of what happens, like and know the rules. But there was also you call the play. Should they do this or should they do that? So I think it's two different things.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. I always said Booger isn't terrible, but he's not great either. Yeah, I mean, Tom Jackson just added a little more character. Booger's a little more, his delivery is a little more vanilla. It's a little bit more generic, I guess is the way I would say it. Like right there, it's about Chris Berman. But before, I mean, you'd have TJ, you'd have, who'd they have back in the day? Bill Pito, Robin Roberts, before, people like that. And, the judge, Bill Pito, as they would call him back in the day during the OJ trial. So
yeah,
I don't know, Jeremy. Are you about to disappear?
Is it asking if I'm about to disappear?
Yeah, Iowa said. Yeah, that's what Iowa said.
Are you about to disappear? No, my battery's good, man.
Yeah, I remember to plug in. So
I
think we're doing pretty well.
Right, it was the penalty. Yeah, I was remembering the right one. It was like, what's the penalty? Like whatever, or both, all three.
So what do they have left? So they have the optional workouts go.
That was great.
I had to reenact that on the on one of the shows the other night. It was actually pretty funny. But who knows? Maybe somebody's coming into my place any moment to take me away. You never know. But the numbers.
So my computer put up that warning that it was going to die, and I said I don't want it to just die with nothing, just out of nothingness. So I just went slam my computer.
Mine just fades right to black. I don't even get a warning on mine because I got to plug mine in because I use a laptop. It's not always plugged in. So
nothing will beat the original with Jude. When you saw that hands come across the screen and it went black.
All I was thinking that moment, it was like Andre the Giant coming in to like block the camera. Like I will say this. I went to when WrestleMania was in Chicago. This was, I think, 13. This is the Steve Austin versus Bret Hart WrestleMania. That's what it's most known for. I went to one of the interactive fan exhibits. I don't even think it was called Access at the time, but they had some exhibits and they had handprints of both the Big Show and Andre the Giant. And dude, I swear to you, my entire hand went up to Andre the Giant's palm. Like my hand is his palm, and that's not even including his fingers.
Yeah, that
just to give you a visual.
So well, I can imagine.
That is a palm, not. Yeah, my hand is his palm. It was.
I can imagine. He was a huge man.
Huge. and Nick Cheyenne, I think, is the only other human being who could drink 156 beers in one setting. I'm pretty confident.
You think he could do it?
I don't know. He talks about the 30 packs. I mean, if you're just drinking that stuff, I mean, once you get the first 30, you're always the hardest. It's just the second 30 gets a little easier. I've been told.
I don't know.
Oh goodness!
Oh my God!
Blair Witch. Yeah, it was a little Blair Witch-esque. Yes, I could see a little bit of that.
What's funny about the people that have come in here tonight nobody seems really that upset about ESPN. I think we've become so numb. I think we've become so numb that none of us care anymore.
We don't care. I don't care about where we are in the power rankings. I don't care if the major networks are talking about us. I don't, and all that kind of stuff. They have their favorites. They're going to kiss the ass of certain teams and certain players, especially the players who should be retired but are still hanging on for another payday. And you know what? Let us be under the radar. That's fine. As a Rangers fan, I hear so many people complaining about ESPN's rooting for the Lightning, Ray Ferraro kisses Tampa Bay's ass. They hate us. I don't give a crap who they are rooting for. I just want to win games, because at the end of the day, we're not going to remember what this announcer said. We're going to remember how far they went, and we're going to remember the memorable wins and the heartbreaking losses. Yeah. So at the end of the day, let the analysts say whatever they want to say. Let them praise us, let them knock us. It's about these coaches and it's about these players. Let them do their job. The rest of it will take care of itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, mess us. Imagine drinking 30 bottles of Iowans Orange Jets fuel.
Woo! Nolte, yes, you're right.
It's like I don't care anymore. No, really, it's like I really don't care, because you know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't even matter. Like, it really doesn't. It means nothing. It just doesn't matter. The other teams are still going to get all the girls anyway. It doesn't matter. They're going to get all the good media and press anyway. It just doesn't matter.
Bury us at 1 o'clock every Sunday.
Matter.
It doesn't matter what you say about the Jets.
I was doing Bill Murray from Meatballs.
Oh, Uncle Bill, fantastic.
Doesn't matter.
Good
it
old
just
Uncle Bill.
Doesn't matter.
I'm thinking The Rock, but
Yeah. It's like, hey Adam, what do you think? What do you think about Zach Wilson's running game? It doesn't matter.
Well, I really think
it doesn't matter what you think.
That's right. So yeah, my message to haters, and including Stephen A. Smith, who thinks that we are destined to always be last. Know it. Mouth, shut it. Holla at your boys. So, and I'm saying that as somebody who actually likes him sometimes, but So yeah, they can say whatever they want, but none of this matters because at the beginning of the season, every team starts 0-0. And after the first week, half the fan bases will be thrilled and half the fan bases will be freaking out.
Yeah.
Same thing every year.
Yeah. So tell them about your channel before we wrap up tonight.
Okay.
Tell them about your new channel. Get some subs here.
All right, let's do that. So my channel is NY Sports Wicker Media. So I've been posting quite a bit of content lately. I'm trying to do several videos a week. I'm expecting to post. My most recent video was looking at the roster construction of the New York Rangers and what comparisons it has to the New York Jets and what can we expect on the Jets based off of that. Oh, Kelly, we talked about that too and what BS that is. Yeah, we went into that as well. So yeah, I'll put something new up. Definitely, I would say if not Thursday, definitely by Friday. Don't have an exact topic in mind, but you know what? Every day there still seems to be something new to post about. It might be Jets, it might be Mets, it might be Rangers, might be something totally different. Just whatever moves me at the moment. Oh, actually, I do have one other question. Do we ever get an update on Garrett Wilson if he actually did get hurt today?
There was no follow up on it. I think he just limped off, and it's going to be a minor thing.
I think so too, because I think by now, if something had been pretty negative, it would have been blowing up, and I haven't seen anybody else.
They didn't
post
even
about
say
it
he went into a
at
blue
all.
tent, so they didn't say he walked off the field or was taken into the locker room. They didn't say a word. They said that he took a minute, he got up and limped off the field. So I think it's going to be fine.
Thank goodness, because I was pretty much ready for it. Okay, Denzel Mims is going to be starting again. So NY Sports Wicker Media, check it out.
All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Check me and Adam out. It will be, well, you're not going to really be checking us out. We're going to be in the background, but very exciting show tomorrow for Green Bean, for the Thursday night thick of it, for Green Bean and Frankie from Flatbush. Make sure you're there. Don't be late. It's going to be an exciting one. They finally have a real interesting guest. I mean, not to put down any guest they've had before, but to actually have the former coach, our former special teams coach.
The GOAT.
I'm going blank right now on his name, but
Mike Westhoff.
Mike Westhoff.
Would you like me to close this for you, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, tune in tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. It's going to be Green Bean. It's going to be Frankie from Flatbush. Hopefully, he'll be a little bit more excited than he was at the end of last week's show, which was just drove me crazy. But we're going to have Mike Westhoff on. If you know anything about Coach, he is going to give you an honest, informative interview. He is not going to pull any punches. His new book is going to be out early next month. It's called Figure It Out. And by the way, I will have some Mike Westhoff related trivia at the end of the show. Maybe I'll even get to ask him the question. You know, maybe they'll let me do that. I don't know, but yeah, I've got a question or two in mind ready, but I do have trivia ready, and it's going to be Mike Westhoff and Jets special teams related, so you don't want to miss it.
All right, take care, everybody.
Good night.
I would regret it if people look back at the first episode and you weren't on it.
Yeah, well, I like that. It's called forward thinking.
We have one of the worst beats in the world. We do. Our beat is horrible.
Connor could shove that article up his ass.
And then I went to that game, and I was like, this is the greatest team I've ever seen in my life. I'm a Jet fan. This is going to be the greatest run ever. Yeah.
No, because if they take Aquanu, I'm not complaining.
Joe Douglas is the king of keeping shit close to the vest.
A 2, a 4, and a 6 for Darnold?
Did the Jets really ruin Sam Darnold, or did Sam Darnold just suck all along and we were just trying to talk ourselves into it?
And Hamilton is a player who can potentially make a very big impact.
And suddenly here we are today. You can't get rid of him.
Right. It's like a plague.
Joe Douglas was hired because he's not those general managers.
Okay, Luscious.
Somebody is going to fall just like Elijah Moore did, just like Michael Carter did.
You know, if you had one sentence to say to Joe Douglas, what would you say? So you would say, you had me at hello, and then give him a big old wet one right on the smack.